initially when someone is being exposed to JEE, it will seem like a very different, very vast, very difficult thing. But it's difficult for everyone. That is what you should understand. So you shouldn't feel like you're being lonely or left behind. Eventually your teachers will help you out. You should always ask doubts and stuff like that. And slowly, once you cross that point, things will start to go smoothly and you'll start enjoying it.
चलो बच्चों, let me take you to IIT Delhi's hostel room, जहाँ से सौम्य आज अपनी IIT Delhi तक पहुँचने की कहानी हमसे शेयर करने वाली है. बच्चों, just like you, Soumya's story is full of anxieties, insecurities, ups and downs. बच्चों, आप सबके साथ होता है ये, राइट? किस तरीके से सौम्य ने इन सबको ओवरकम किया विद द सपोर्ट फ्रॉम हर फैमिली, टीचर्स, फ्रेंड्स. बच्चों, अगर सौम्य कर सकती है तो आप भी कर सकते हो. चलो सुनते हैं सौम्य की IIT दिल्ली की जीत की राह की कहानी. Hi everyone. So welcome to today's episode of JEET Ki Raah, and today we have this inspiring student with us, Soumya. Soumya is from Jamshedpur और इसने पहले अटेम्प्ट में IIT क्लियर किया है. She is studying in IIT Delhi Textile Technology now. But Soumya से पूछते हैं, to tell us more about herself. Yes, Soumya.
Okay, so I come from Jamshedpur, Jharkhand, which is a very beautiful and organized city. Also, I used to live on the outskirts of town, so वहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा nature and it's very removed from the actual hustle bustle of the city. So that was really nice for me. And my rank in JEE was 10,992, which was a little not as good as I expected it to be, but I was still very happy about it because I had an overall development while going through the journey, and I'm very happy currently and I'm enjoying my initial life at IIT Delhi, and it's very nice.
Nice. So Soumya, you talked about something very beautiful. तुमने बोला कि whatever the rank, but you're very happy about the journey that you have had, right? ठीक है. So tell me more about this journey. And I think तुमने पूरी पढ़ाई भी online ही की वेदांतु के ऊपर. So I want to know more about this journey that you went through.
Initially, it was a little difficult to adapt to the online system for me because COVID was there. So apart from staying at the house, we didn't have any other activities. It was not just about the studies. But slowly, once I got used to it and I had the support of the teachers, so things started to get better. I got more used to it, and teachers were all very supportive and organized. We had our revision done 3 times, so it was all done on time, and so I could keep up with it. About the overall journey, I think it was important that even apart from academics, which improved a lot and gave me a lot of rigorous experience, you could say, mentally and emotionally, I think going through that entire phase of 2 years improves your personality a lot and makes you very resilient. So like the me from standard 11th starting is very different from the me now. I'm more equipped now to deal with life problems that come my way and be strong when I face them.
सौम्या, ये जो 2 साल की जर्नी में आपने थोड़ी हार्डशिप्स की बात की एंड यू टॉक्ड अबाउट कि सेन रहने के लिए पोएट्री से लेके स्केचिंग से लेके इतना कुछ आप करती थी, ठीक है? तो यार ये हार्डशिप्स क्या थी? मतलब डिड यू गो थ्रू सम अप्स एंड डाउन्स इन योर प्रिपरेशन इन दीज 2 years? थे, अगर गई हो तो क्या थे उस टाइप के, वो क्या किस टाइप के अप्स एंड डाउन्स थे?
I think first of all, like I said, because of COVID and stuff, the initial thing which I guess everyone faced was lack of social contact, which we were so used to. तो उसके वजह से होता था. Then there was a smaller aspect of physical issues, like we are not being active, we are not meeting people, and we don't take care of our sleep schedule and all of that. तो वो settle होने में थोड़ा time लगता है. By the time we realize that those things actually affect our studies, कुछ महीने निकल चुके होते हैं. But majorly, I think mentally and emotionally ups and downs ज़्यादा होते हैं, like more than physical well-being and stuff, which also includes stress, feeling like you're not doing good enough. अगर marks अच्छे नहीं आए तो you start to be upset, you start comparing yourself to other people. Plus during my 12th standard, when COVID relaxed a bit, my sister went to college like offline, and I'm like very close to her, so that was like a really difficult period for me when she went away, like because she's like my best friend and I talk to her a lot, so that also contributed to a bit of ups and downs. But majorly eventually I started to learn to deal with it. Like initially I couldn't understand. If my mood was not okay, I found it difficult studying. But slowly I figured my way around that even if I'm not feeling good, how to mold myself into that and feel better and do study when I'm required to.
Got it. So, सौम्या, जैसे शुरू करते हैं 11th से, राइट? 11th में जब आपने प्रिपरेशन शुरू की, जो बच्चों के क्वेश्चंस होते हैं ना, मैं वही आपसे भी पूछता हूँ एक बार. So 11th में जैसे ही they enter, right? You know the 11th hits them very hard. नंबर नहीं आते. You know 10th में we are used to getting like 90%, 80%, so on and so forth. But 11th में आते ही suddenly जब पहला टेस्ट होता है IIT JEE लेवल का 30%, 20%, 40%, right? So did it happen with you when you were in 11th?
Yes, it actually did happen. It happened to be in standard 10th actually, because I had a little bit of pre-coaching in standard 10th regarding JEE. Okay. So when I went from 9th to 10th, that thing happened to me. Till 9th, I was solely focused on school studies. So in 10th, I was suddenly like, when I started studying vectors, I did not understand a single thing. What is IJK? It was so very different. But I guess any kind of transition is like that, whether you go from 10th to 11th or currently like I've come to college, and studies here are very different. So initially it feels like you're not understanding anything. Actually, I have an example apart from academics that makes me feel better when I'm facing things like this. Like I bought my guitar in standard 9 and I found it very difficult to play, so I did not learn anything for 3 years. Then I started playing this January, and in 1 month I could learn a lot. So I guess it's just about how you keep yourself focused. Initially things seem very difficult, but it's like that activation energy graph. Once you cross that point, things will go smoothly. Like it's like a hill, that small hill you have to cross in any kind of transition. So initially when someone is being exposed to JEE, it will seem like a very different, very vast, very difficult thing, but it's difficult for everyone. That is what you should understand. So you shouldn't feel like you're being lonely or left behind. Eventually your teachers will help you out. You should always ask doubts and stuff like that, and slowly once you cross that point, things will start to go smoothly and you'll start enjoying it.
Very interesting, Soumya. So talking about few things, so तुमने बातें बोली, उसमें से 2-3 चीजें मैं पकड़ता हूँ. So you know the journey can become lonely, राइट? सो यू कैन फील लोनली कि मेरे साथ ही ऐसा होता है क्या, ठीक है, मेरे ही नंबर नहीं आते क्या, ठीक है. सो लोनलीनेस की अगर बात करें तो ऑनलाइन आपने पढ़ाई शुरू की, यू स्टार्टेड लर्निंग ऑन वेदांतु, राइट फ्रॉम द 11th. सो कुड यू फाइंड योर फ्रेंड्स और कुड यू create a connect among students online?
Yes, actually that was a very good thing. We had our own groups and stuff, and I think that is something which online has an edge over offline, because in offline institutions I guess people are more conscious about people who are better than them, about asking doubts in class. Like people who sit at the back feel like they are not able to catch as much as people sitting at the front. Those small things can happen, but in online you have an environment where anyone can ask doubts, or even after class you can always contact your teachers. And especially I noticed that all the teachers at Vedantu are very positive, not just on a professional level but even on a personal level. Like any teacher I interacted with, I never found them in an irritated mood which could reflect badly on me. It was always something that uplifted me. And even friend groups that we had in chats, always there to help you out. Once you send a doubt on the group, they would always respond. Even apart from that, we had like fun sessions planned sometimes. So it was like a very good environment.
अच्छा समय एक और चीज़ बताओ. So जब तुम 11th से 12th में आई, राइट? So ये बच्चे जो मुझसे क्वेश्चंस पूछते हैं कि ना सर बहुत बैकलॉग रह गया मेरे 11th के टॉपिक्स छूट गए, मैं किस पे फोकस करूं? तुम्हारे साथ भी ऐसा हुआ था क्या?
Yes, that did happen with me, but the sole thing I did to deal with that was trust my teachers. Like पहले क्लास में जाके I talked to my teachers, and I guess many students including me, we asked them कि ऐसे backlog है, what should we do about it? And they said that once we complete the 12th syllabus, we will go back to the 11th backlogs and take care of that. Or jo concepts required hote hain 12th mein, if you're facing issues in that, we'll take extra classes. And I blindly followed that, and it did not create issues. They did complete the 11th backlog. They did take extra classes for the concepts that were creating a lot of issues. So it went smoothly. So I would just suggest that convey your problem to your teacher. They will give you a solution, blindly follow that, and things will go fine.
Perfect. That's it. You said it. Trust your teachers, follow what they're saying, चुपचाप करते जाओ. And एक और चीज़ पता है, मैं अगेन बच्चों से डिस्कस करता हूँ कि रिवीजन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, एंड लर्निंग इज साइक्लिक इन नेचर. विद एवरी वन साइकिल you get more depth and you gain more confidence, right? So I think you briefly talked about revision. Tell me more. How did your revision go when you were learning here at Vedantu?
Okay, so initially we had tests every 2 weeks or 1 week depending on what kind of syllabus was going on. So I was very confused how to revise. Like the current classes are going on, the test is there, so how to go about that? So Vikas sir only, he gave a completely structured flow chart as to how we had to revise, like after the class, like every 3 days right before the test. So I followed that. And even for students who didn't follow that or were feeling weird about the revision process, after our syllabus was completed in around September, I think, our first phase of revision began in October. Then once that was completed, we had the second phase of revision in around December, and then again we had it in January. So we had our revision 3 times. So even for people who didn't follow a structured schedule of revision and were feeling very lost, everything was covered till the end. So once we followed that, so I guess this is something I noticed in Vedantu. I have many other friends who have studied in multiple coaching institutes. The revision structure especially was very planned out and thorough, and the completing syllabus on time, which is not something that happens even in places which have very rigorous teaching. So that relaxes the student a lot.
Got it. Or so two more things related to that. So typically बच्चों को problem होती है that they're preparing for JEE, right? Then now there is JEE main, then you have board exam, then you have JEE advanced. So how did you balance between all these three? When did you focus on what?
Okay, so if you're focusing on your concepts of JEE nicely, for board exams, all that you need to practice is how to write, how to present, and how to be more subjective about it. You won't have the understanding time to devote to it. So for boards, I think I devoted 5 to 6 days for each exam. The gap that was there, and around 10-15 days extra, which is good enough if your concepts are clear. And regarding JEE mains and JEE advanced, I was focusing on JEE advanced more. For mains, I the mains exclusive topics that you have, I studied that a month before through the classes that we were having, and if I wanted to refer to something, I watched Vedantu JEE YouTube videos, NCERT based things and stuff like that, which chapters you have to learn. And I solved past year papers online mode. I gave the tests, and that was good enough for JEE mains. Again, if you're focused and your concepts are clear about advanced, for mains you don't need to do anything more than apart from the exclusive topics and the test or the pattern that you need to have. Rest, I guess, if someone, again, student specifically, your teacher would tell you more if you should focus on JEE mains first or advanced first. It's structured according to the students, but according to me, it went this way.
So तुमने बात की मेंटल वेलबींग की, बीइंग हैप्पी की, ठीक है? तो बहुत बच्चे मुझसे पूछते हैं, सर क्या बात कर रहे हो, दिन भर तो पढ़ते रहना पड़ता है, ठीक है? और ये जो टॉपर्स होते हैं ना 12-12 घंटे पढ़ते हैं, ठीक है? So did you study for these 12 hours, 13 hours a day? What was your schedule like?
No, actually, initially, I guess it varied from 4 to 5 hours, when I started out 11th. Then honestly, during the end, it becomes a bit haywire. It depends on what kind of syllabus you have and what you're going through. But I guess the study hours do increase. But what I noticed was, and what I'm even noticing in college, the first thing that you need to have in mind while taking up JEE or any other exam is whether you're interested in those subjects. If someone is solely taking it for the purpose that their parents are asking them to, and you cannot literally sit with that book, it is going to be very difficult. The second thing I noticed was that if you enjoy that subject, even if you have distractions, even if you're not feeling good, once you get into that mode of studying, it will be fun for you. So studying for long hours won't be a burden. regulating your studies is more of a burden, like how to get into that mode specifically. For someone, even studying for 1 hour can be very difficult if you're not in that state, if you're not feeling good. But if you're feeling good enough, you can study for 8 to 10 hours and you won't even notice that. You will enjoy it. So I guess if you're enjoying the subject and you understand how to bring yourself into that mode after you taking a break, and the break doesn't become like very extended, studying for long hours won't be a problem. Like according to your schedule and the tests that are coming up, and as the exam gets closer, you'll be able to regulate that and you'll start enjoying it. Like you will have those small achievements while studying which help you, which make you want to study more. Like there'll come a point that if you're feeling good while studying, you won't want to do other things. Like, so it won't be an issue once you regulate how to get yourself into that mode of study.
Totally, I agree with you, Soumya. अच्छा सौम्य, एक और चीज़ बताओ, तो बच्चों को एक और बहुत दिक्कत होती है, सर इतनी सारी किताबें हैं, there are so many books around, right? So which ones to do? I'm surrounded with books, right? So did you study with a lot of books, or in general, what are those books or material that you followed?
Okay, so I guess it is a very widely discussed concept that a person should follow one book many times rather than following many books without completing them, which is something a lot of people talk about. Specifically, books that I followed were, I guess, very standard. In Physics Galaxy, in physics I followed Physics Galaxy, and then in maths I had Singers and stuff like that. But again, the key point is do what your teacher tells you. Like, don't go running after books. If suppose you're choosing to self-study or you're studying from YouTube and you don't have a specific mentor or teacher to tell you what to follow, then pick one YouTube video, follow what they say. Like, don't go running to places. Follow one person and follow that religiously. So that will keep your stress amount. In the long run, it does not matter if you solve it nicely, whatever book or material you're solving. But doing it from one place will ensure that you're not having extra stress about what you should be solving or that you're missing out on something. If you decide and do that, then you'll have a sense of completion, which contributes a lot to your state of study.
And Soumya, any study technique which really worked for you, which you will want to suggest to the students who are preparing now?
Okay, so making neat notes is the first one, which I've realized my sister does not. Like, this is something I used to tell her a lot, and it is one of my, you could say, key characteristics of studying. I love to make notes, and I make them very nicely, which again gives me a sense of completion and satisfaction. And apart from that, even the questions that you're doing, if a question is important or if it is difficult, always include that in your notes. Keeping things organized, like if I have to tell it in one place, don't keep things hazard. Suppose you solve a lot and you're very good at it and you're able to do things, if it's not organized, because the JEE is something that is so vast, it will create issues later on. Like, maybe for a small class test you could do that and ace it, but in JEE, because syllabus is so vast, it's such a long time period that initially you will feel like, okay, 1 week of studies happened and I'm able to manage all this. But if it's not organized, slowly it will pile up and it will like a whole chaotic thing. So keeping organized notes, both in terms of theory and questions, would be a good thing. Like, even in your own book, you can mark questions. It should always be according to your own personalized scheme so that you can get to it later on when you need to.
You know, the age that you were at when you were preparing 11th and 12th, this is teenage, age which is prone to distraction, right? So how did you keep distraction at bay? Or did you also used to get distracted with the social media or anything when you were preparing?
Okay, so like I said, I used to write poetry, right? So I was on Instagram with one of my poetry accounts, and also for interacting with friends till standard 10. I deactivated that for 2 years because I knew that I could not devote time to it. And if I wanted to, then I should solely devote time to that. Like, it's like not putting yourself in two boats, because it won't work out. So I did deactivate that. Apart from that, I did not have a personal phone until 1 month back. So that was I did used to have my own leisure time, like watching movies, watching YouTube and stuff. But because what happens is when you have your personal phone, it is hard to keep track of how much you're using it. Like, my parents did not put restrictions on me. Like, I could use a phone whenever I wanted to. I could keep it with me all day long. But then I was aware that okay, हम ये कर रहे हैं. Sometimes it is more important that if you're getting distracted, you should be aware how much or how often. Like what happens with people is that they do time pass all day long and they don't even realize that their day is gone. So that is not something good. Like you decide कि ठीक है 5 दिन हम कुछ नहीं करेंगे. I'm going to enjoy with my friends or watch movies or even completing a web series. That's fine. But just doing that and not being aware of it is a very dangerous thing, which is what is termed as distraction, I guess. So just keep a track of where your time is going.
So lots of best wishes to you, Soumya, from all of us. And जाते जाते एक चीज़ मैं पूछना चाहूँगा आपसे. बच्चों के लिए जो all the students are preparing now, right? Your one message to all of them.
Okay, so I would say stay close to your parents and follow what your teachers tell you to do, and open up to them. Like teachers, I guess a teacher-student relationship is very beautiful to me, because in all other relationships you have a kind of barrier, but in teacher-student relationship you always have positivity. There's no sense of negativity or anger or jealousy or fighting. There's only positivity and guidance, which is something that amazes me, how teachers are always so positive around students and so helping. So take use of that. Like उस चीज का फायदा उठाओ कि teacher student relationship इतनी अच्छी चीज होती है, and be close to your teachers and follow whatever they're saying, and that will help you a lot.
बच्चों, inspiring isn't it? किस तरीके से सौम्य इन सब चैलेंजेस को ओवरकम करते हुए आईआईटी दिल्ली तक पहुंची. बच्चों, सबके साथ ये प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं, डिप्रेशंस होते हैं, इनसिक्योरिटीज़ होती है, प्रॉब्लम्स आती है. बट बच्चों, अपनी मेंटल वेलनेस और हैप्पीनेस को सेंटर में रख के आप सब लोग इन चैलेंजेस को ओवरकम करके अपने ड्रीम्स को अचीव कर सकते हो. देखा आप लोगों ने किस तरीके से सौम्य ने पोइट्री के अंदर भी अपने लिए सपोर्ट ढूंढा, अपनी हॉबीज़ को भी परस्यू किया प्रिपरेशन करते हुए. बट आई एम श्योर सौम्य की जीत की राह की स्टोरी से आप सब लोगों ने बहुत कुछ सीखा होगा. बच्चों, विश यू ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट. जाओ, अचीव योर ड्रीम्स.